just walking along the salt line, and what tends to happen when I walk along here is I just kind of lose myself in thought and forget what I'm supposed to be doing quite often, to be honest. But that's always interrupted when I see somebody else walking their dog, because I have to pay particular attention to what my dogs are doing, just in case they get into a fight or something like that. And I'm just kind of thinking about what the implications are for that. Certainly one of the things I've been thinking about recently is to do with entertainment. Oh God, there's somebody coming now, so I'm going to stop. I'll continue as long as I can. Certainly one of the things I've been thinking about recently is to do with entertainment. And how entertainment is kind of distinguishable from art. That's not really the right distinction to make, actually, but there's something about certain kinds of practices which are embracing in the way that entertainment is embracing. It kind of pulls you in and kind of captures your attention, makes you forget yourself, presents itself as a kind of seamless joining with the activity of the arts practice, whatever it is, and with your own sense of being, like musicals or rock concerts or that kind of thing, where there's a sense of being held mutually, not only with the crowd around you, but also with the activity that's going on. At the same time, there's also, certainly within some arts practice and some theatre practice, a sense of being excluded and withheld, deliberately so usually. So even whilst one is involved in this, I'm not sure what happened there. My phone just made a funny noise. This may not be recording. So anyway, even whilst there's this sense of being held and being of feeling kind of forgetting oneself and feeling part of something larger, there's at the same time this other sense that one is isolated and pushed away. That's always my understanding, actually, of the words forced entertainment theatre company. That it's kind of forced to be part of the experience in the hearts of the way that forced entertainment work is to kind of hold you, capture you. I'm thinking particularly the use of music, for example, and the adopting of certain conventions. But at the same time, you're also repelled and held at arm's length and excluded from the practice. So you get a view from both the feeling from the inside and a view from the outside simultaneously, a synesthetic merger of those experiences. So I think that's characteristic of lots of arts practice, and I'll just think more about that. But one of the things that I'm thinking about today in relation to this walking along the salt line, watching out for dogs, being one with the flow of the walking and letting my mind wander whilst I'm doing that, and then occasionally being brought up short by the needs of the moment. I think there's something else about that, really, I think, which is interesting in terms of art and theatre and that kind of practice. Certainly one's day-to-day habit, I think, is to just kind of walk through the world, and it's I think it can be applauded, really, in many ways. Certainly feeling that sense of flow, that sense of unproblematic engagement, that sense that I think features in some Chinese philosophy of something called Wu Wei or something like that. Just proceeding unproblematically. I think there is a sense in which that is laudable and a desirable goal. But at the same time, occasionally it's good to be brought up short. It's good to have something happen that impedes that flow, slows it down, stops it, forces you to reconsider the direction of travel, forces you to look at the environment, which is sort of seamlessly embroidering itself around you whilst you walk. In this context of my walking along the salt line, it's other dogs, and the need to be vigilant to make sure there's no fight ensuing. But in terms of art and performance practice, I think there is a role there as well, a similar kind of parallel role, which is what's sometimes referred to as an intervention, where a piece of artwork or a piece of performance work kind of intrudes itself into the smooth surface of day-to-day experience, and kind of acts as a kind of dam to the flow of day-to-day life, forcing oneself to just be conscious for a moment, or just be vigilant about the circumstances that are supporting that unproblematic engagement with the world. Because sometimes it's good to have a problem with the world, I think, really. Sometimes it's good to be engaged in a way which isn't unproblematic, but is more provocative. So again, I think we're seeing, at least I'm seeing in that, a kind of, not a paradox, but a two-sidedness to the art performance experience, part of which is to do with seamless engagement in the way that one is entertained, embraced, or that one experiences flow and absorption. And then there's this apparently contradictory, but more likely complementary principle in which one is excluded, or one of which is pulled up short, both of which principles allow a kind of reconsideration of those of the circumstances of that tapestry that one is both weaving and figuring within.